I think that we can all agree here that 2023 has been the worst year for Disney, not just because of the box office failures, but also because of the finances. We have seen that the stock has met an all-time low, a 9-year low to be very specific, and Bob Iger has been lying to the general public. He's really been acting like a two-face lately and really just not admitting the truth of what's really going on with Disney, Disney Plus, ESPN, Hulu, etc., etc. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this. However, their up-and-coming film, The Marvels, is going to be an abomination for several reasons. We're going to be diving into exactly what's going on with Brie Larson in this movie and a specific test screening situation with The Marvels, which, by the way, is still set for its November 10th release date. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, Brie Larson, and I've said this many times, that she is one of the most insufferable actresses out there. But as of late, I think that Rachel Zegler really dethroned her as the most insufferable one, let's be honest, right? So, what's interesting about this is that we know that The Marvels is on track to becoming one of the biggest box office failures for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for several reasons. We know that director Nia DaCosta has said before in the past that this movie is going to be the wackiest and silliest Marvel movie out of all that has released in theaters and any Marvel TV show out there. Which, that's not a good thing to say. I don't know why you would want to self-sabotage in that sense, but let's move into the real stuff here. Now, with Disney's The Marvels still slated for its November 10th release date, one major development has to do with the Marvels test screening that has gotten completely negative, of course, feedback from screeners that has left Disney in shambles. One of the sequences that got pure negative feedback and reception had mainly to do with Brie Larson having a conversation with Ms. Marvel. Now, there is reportedly a sequence in which Brie Larson's Captain Marvel rants about the Avengers claiming to be the mightiest warriors in the universe, where she gives Ms. Marvel reassurance that they, as in the Marvels, are more mighty than even Vision and Thanos. The sequence is said to be really in the face of the audience to drive up the girl power attitude. Now, screeners also held a negative reaction to Brie Larson's acting in this film, throwing many insults and bullying scenarios against Sam Jackson's Nick Fury. The film is said to have tons of man-shaming in the film, along with the worst acting presented by Brie Larson yet. This screening failure is why Disney also hesitated on releasing the film on November 10th and have been considering rearranging some scenes before its release and delaying the movie in the process. The SAG strike also is playing a major role with the lack of promotion for the film. Now, let me just say one thing about this, because we have a big final piece to this development that we have to talk about, is that The Marvels is definitely on track to becoming one of the worst installments in the MCU in a very long time. Now, the thing that I don't like about Brie Larson is that this is something that she discussed with Nia DaCosta. You guys may or may not know, but they get along very well, and they have like this tight friendship, and they know going in that they wanted to do what they wanted to do with this movie. It is going to be a pure feminist-driven movie, so to speak, that's going to have, like I said before, a lot of man-shaming in it, and a lot of wacky and silly scenes, unlike any other Marvel installment before. And I think at the end of the day, right, this just makes you realize, what is Disney doing? They have to know what they're doing. Well, they most definitely are. It's all about driving up that agenda nonsense, right, being thrown into this film. Now, that's exactly why, Brie Larson is also having a very big problem with Disney lately, is that they aren't marketing it the way that they wanted Disney to market this movie. They are playing things very safely lately with the trailer and with the up-and-coming TV spots. So they want to do the Barbie effect, much like with what they want to do with Snow White. They want to give it the Barbie effect where their full intentions are not going to be shown in the promotional work through and through. And that's to basically get as many people into the theater seats as possible as they can in the shortest amount of time as they can as well. However, let's move on to the next big piece, and this is where it gets even worse, is that additionally, another sequence in the Marvels that got negative feedback from the screeners features a moment where Brie Larson openly makes fun of the fact that there probably is no male variant of her in the multiverse. It's a conversation that happens between the Marvels, where Brie gets into the conversation of the multiverse. They all poke fun at no possibility of a male variant even existing and how that's just not possible. Marvel's director Nia DaCosta was aware of the negative response from screeners and also fell into panic mode over the release of this film failing at the box office. Nia did admit that this film will be the wackiest and silliest Marvel movie of all time, and screeners agreed with that statement by the director, and it's not a good thing for Disney at all. Now, look, I've always been confused why Nia would openly admit that this is going to be the wackiest and silliest Marvel movie to date. You know, I kind of view that as self-sabotage. Others would view this as her having a lot of pride in this movie being the way that it is. You know, I think it may very well be a little bit of both. You know, I think that Nia realizes that this movie needs to be promoted the way that it needs to be promoted. This way it won't shock the audience, you know, immediately. She wants to make sure that people going in are going to realize what it is advertised as, a very wacky and silly film. And so the fact that we have the Marvels, you know, discussing about how pathetic it would be and how there's no possibility of a male variant of Captain Marvel even existing in the multiverse, it just goes to show you another prime example of this shaming that is happening more and more by Disney. It's very much like how Phoebe Waller-Bridge was very toxic, a very bully-esque attitude against Indiana Jones in Indy 5. It's said to be even worse than that. And that, I think, is going to be the driving force to its failure and driving this movie into the ground. Don't expect this to stay in theaters for that long. I believe it's going to be worse than The Flash, and not on a story level, because The Flash had some entertainment value. You know, I will be very clear about that. But I think it's going to be like The Flash in the sense where it's not going to be in theaters for that long. It's going to really lose a lot of money, and they're going to pull this movie out as fast as possible and just throw it right on Disney+. You know, it's crazy how Indy 5 is already arriving on Disney Plus this month. In fact, I believe it's arriving in just a couple of days, if not already. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it is arriving at the end of this month regardless. That's really fast. I feel like it was just in theaters, right? Time just flew. So I would like to really say one more thing here about the Marvels, is that the screenings of the early cut have not been going well, and the latest cut also have not been going well. And that just goes to show you that Brie and everyone else involved with this film, I feel bad for Sam Jackson even being affiliated with this movie. I don't know why he signed up for this, but I would like to say one thing, guys. I am going to talk a lot more about this film, and we'll be heading more into this on November 10th. Anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night